Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome all to my podcast called Emotional Abuse Matters. My name is Aminata Ba, and you are tuning into Ep.4 called Toxic Family Members. I am the founder and CEO of the Ultimate Confidence Bootcamp, a freelance model, a beauty queen, and a motivational speaker. A toxic person is anyone who brings negativity to your life to upset you through their own behavior. You will always feel emotionally exhausted around them. They are intimidating, controlling, easily jealous, overly defensive, and oftenly plays the victim. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are bad people. Many times it's because they deal with their own traumas and stresses, and to make themselves feel better, they put it on others. It's definitely not the right way to heal from pain, but they don't understand it. Toxic people are everywhere. They can be among friends, co-workers, neighbors, a random person, and most sadly, your own family members. I didn't grow up in a physical violent family, but I have dealt with toxic behaviors with my close family members. My parents grew in a different generation and environment, most precisely in Guinea, located in West Africa, which is a Muslim country. The culture is very strict and severe, so there's certain things that is not accepted, and they don't understand that things have changed in the 21st century. Even though our society see things normally, I can't blame them because they also did not have access to the internet, technology back in the days to fully understand everything. Even though living in Canada for many years would not make them change the way they view things. I had the basic needs from my parents like food and clothes, but I was not always supported in other ways. For example, extracurricular activities. My parents would always tell me to just focus on school and get a career, which is very common for every parent. Doesn't matter your culture or race, but I also had other interests like modeling, gymnastics, and they were against it. When I first entered my beauty pageant, I was 18 years old and I didn't need their consent to participate because I was already an adult. But they did not support me and it really hurt me. They said very unpleasant opinions about it, that I was not going to win because I was too shy, not tall enough, and it was not my thing at all. And since that pageant was called Miss Guinea Canada, that Guineans would make fun of me, and also if it was my sister, she would probably win the pageant, but not me. They really tried to discourage me not to participate, but I didn't listen to them and I went ahead. I also mentioned on episode 2 of Destructive Comparison that I was always compared to my sister that was mostly a straight A student, and I wasn't. It really bothered me because they always want all their children to be straight A students, and because of that, I was seen like the child that would never amount to anything, and I would never be successful in life because I don't work hard and make no efforts. I did sometimes have good grades in certain assignments and classes, and I would show it to my parents, but they would say, oh, but you're always good on classes that are not very important, or say that you are putting yourself down when you can actually get good grades sometimes. But the truth is, they were putting me down. I remember a moment when my sister was in college. There was one class she had trouble with, and she did not end up passing that one class. It was a big shock in the family because they know that she works very hard at school. They immediately thought that she got cursed because she recently came back from a trip to Guinea. My mom also mentioned that if it was me, she wouldn't care or be surprised. Both of my parents booked some time off to go and meet that teacher in another city to know why exactly she didn't pass the class. When it comes to house chores, it wasn't really something that I enjoyed doing, but when my parents would ask me to do something, I wasn't immediately refusing or impolite. My sister was always ready and loved helping out with house chores and also with the cooking. My mom was saying how no one would marry me because of my lack of interest in succeeding in school and for the house chores and the cooking, and that being pretty, beautiful would not make me get someone these days. My mother adopted one of my cousins from Guinea due to a personal reason. And she came here at a young age, like preteen age and all. We grew up together and stuff, and she had a very toxic behavior, especially towards me. I mean, me and her, we really weren't really always getting along. We always have these little beefs and everything. So many things happened with her. Yeah, she was pretty known as the child that was very toxic. I know that she did not have an easy life back in Guinea. She lived with her father's wife that raised her, and she was not always treating her right. And I understand that. It's not always, life is not always fair. You don't always get what you want. And I understand that she's been through a lot. And because of what she's been through, she came to Canada, and she was showing her toxic side on us. She was always putting us down because we were Canadian kids, and she was seeing as Canada as a very lame country. Like, it sucks to be born in Canada and everything. She was always putting all of us down. So many things happened with her. If I can explain a situation where she really went off, okay, on me. So basically, I was 16 years old, okay, when it happened. I met this guy at a party, and I took his phone number. We started talking, and I was really attracted to the guy, even though he was he was like way older than me, okay. I was like underage, but he was like maybe in his early 20s and all. But we just texted and everything. Nothing really happened between me and him. And it was, I think, near the New Year's of 2011, and I was texting him, okay, that I wanted to meet him the day after. And we went to this family house. I don't remember, like my friend's family's house. We went all together there. I was texting the guy, and my cousin's best friend was there, and she realized that I was so much in my phone, so she asked me who I was texting. You're always on your phone. And I didn't reply. It's like, whatever. And then she came and grabbed my phone. Like, I was not expecting for her to she grabbed my phone in a very gentle way and went in the washroom, locked herself, and read all my messages. And I was like, shoot, oh my gosh, I was not expecting this to happen, and this was so not right. I was like, oh, she read everything. She read. So what she did, she immediately went and informed my cousin, which is her best friend. I totally understand that. And told my cousin everything. The day after, I didn't really care that my cousin knew I was meeting a guy. Like, I wasn't expecting for her to go on and off or do something about it, right? So I just went and I met the guy and everything. And I went to the guy's place, we chilled, we talked, but my phone was ringing a lot. Like, it was like in the evening around 8 p.m. My phone was ringing. My sister was like, where are you? I was getting calls from my dad. Ami, where are you? I was like, I just went out. What's wrong? Like, where did you go? I mean, all the stores are closed because it was the New Year's Day, January 1st. I was like, oh, I just went out to chill. I'm coming back by this time. It wasn't even that late, like maybe around 9 p.m. Okay, and you know what? I was getting so much calls. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I felt something was going on, and then the guy was also wary. He's like, wait, why are they calling you? Like, and then he's like, okay, you know what? You should just go home. I think something is happening. So he brought me to the bus stop, and then I went back home. When I arrived home, my dad, my mom, my sister, my brother, and her and the cousin They were all staring at me. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I was panicking. Oh my gosh. And actually, you know what? Before I entered the house, I felt that something bad was gonna happen. So when I was in the bus going back home, I deleted the guy's number and all the messages because I felt that there's something related to that situation happened. I came back home and my dad was like, come here, sit down. Where did you go? I just went out to chill. Well, all the stores I closed today. Where did you go? And then my sister looked at me and she was pointing my cousin, that like saying that it was her that told the parents that I went to see a guy. Knowing that my parents are very religious, strict parents, it is not allowed to go see a man if you are not married, or if it's not your fiance or your husband. It's against the culture to go see a guy, to go to a guy. Even dating before getting married isn't, unless you know that's gonna be your husband, it's against the culture. And my cousin is totally aware of it. She's in the same generation as us, okay? Even though she was born in Guinea, but she knows in the culture that it's not acceptable, and you are my cousin, you should be protecting me from my parents, and our generation is not the same as their generation. There's certain things that you shouldn't be saying to the parents, and she's fully aware of it, but she went ahead and did it. And I was like, oh my god, I'm in big trouble. My dad told my sister to take my phone and to look at my messages, and my cousin was there being the parent's pet. Oh yeah, my sister was saying, okay, so I see contact, I see this person here. My sister was reading the name out loud, and my cousin was saying, oh yeah, that's her friend at school, that's da 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 da. And yeah, because so basically she told all to my parents everything, that I went to see a guy, that her best friend told me, that she read the messages on her phone. And my mom was like, why didn't you guys tell us before she left the house? You guys knew that she was going out. She wouldn't have left the house. She was like, oh, well, the reason why I didn't do it because I thought that she wouldn't go. So that's why she went to tell the parents. And I was like, oh my gosh. So what happened? My dad's like, okay, put yourself, like, let's go to the hospital. They brought me to the hospital to check if I was a virgin. I went to the hospital. I started crying. We went to see the doctors, and they were like, what's the problem? What? Okay, so the reception, it was like, what? Why can't she just tell you guys that she did it? Why you guys bringing her in the hospital? And I told the nurse that the reception, no, nothing happened. So we still went to see the doctor. The doctor did not check me out. They was just there talking to me what happened. So I explained to them everything that happened in tears. So this is. It's like, okay, you know what they happened is, did something happen? I said, nothing happened. We just talked, we chilled with the guy. And they gave me advices on what to do, what not to do. And they said that they're not going to check her out. And they told my parents that we are not allowed to check her intimity. They're not allowed to do that. And they told my parents that nothing happened. So I felt so sad. We went back home. And the whole night I was crying. I did not sleep. And I was confused. I didn't know what I was like. Am I in a dream? Am I in a nightmare? Did this really happen to me? I was like, I can't stay in this house anymore. I packed my things. I was packing my things. I'm like, I'm gonna leave this house. I'm gonna run away. I just can't stay here anymore. Like, do you know how I felt bringing you to the hospital to check if you're a virgin? Can you believe it? Like, how you would feel if someone did this to you. I packed my things. I was like, I'm leaving this house. And suddenly when I opened the door, I felt someone was coming down the stairs. I'm like, oh my God, who's that? And it was my dad. He came, he closed the door. Come, let's sit in the living room. He was like, he was so sad. He was crying. I'm so emotional right now because I remember the situation like it was yesterday. He was crying. He's like, so everything we did for you, we did this to you. Like, he was saying all the things that I did for you. I gave you this phone. I did this for you. I did that for you. And you're just going to leave us? I didn't say anything. I was crying also on my end. He called my mom. And my mom was like, are you serious? You're making your dad cry. You're making me cry. So you went to see a guy and you don't want us to say anything? And my dad is like, if you want to leave the house, you can leave, but not at this time. It was too late. It was like maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It's like, it's too late and it's not safe to be out at this time. And he's like, if you want to go to Montreal to your uncle's, I can drive you right now, but I can't leave you go out like that. I was like, I don't want to stay in this house anymore. I told him that I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to stay anymore after all of this happened. My mom was crying. They got dressed. We went in the car. Driving around, we went to the police station, and the police advised me and told me not to leave my parents, that I should stay with them, and he gave me advices and all. I was like, I was very confused. I didn't know what to do. At the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I don't even know where I was going to go anyway. So I went back home. And I was in full depression, crying. And my sister, the morning my sister came, she came in my room. She's like, oh my God, why is there luggage? Where were you trying to go? I was like,
are you all my personal
where did you were gonna go? I was like, I don't know. My sister was there. She was trying to reconfirm me, like saying, crying, I don't want you to be in depression. And she told me everything about how my cousin said it to my parents. And then she's like, you see, we were calling you while you were out. You were not picking up the phone. You were not telling us where you went. So because of you were not saying where you were, she's like, you know what? The cousin said she would go and tell the parents because Aminata is not saying where she is. And she's also very naive, and she will let the guy touch her and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and tell the parents. So that's why she went to tell the parents. And when we came back from the hospital, she asked my sister, so did they check her? And my sister said no. And she's like, oh, she got lucky. But if it was in Africa, they would immediately check if she was a virgin or not. But we're in Canada. She said that to my sister. My sister explained it to me. She's like, oh my God, Aminata, be strong. Focus on school, college. You see this girl, she does not like you. She doesn't want to see you succeed. It's so obvious. She's like, be strong, Ami. Stop crying. My sister was there. She's supporting and comforting me, saying, Ami, it's okay. Don't worry. And since she was studying in another city, she was going to leave. And she said, Ami didn't say it. She won't say anything to anybody, and her best friend will also not say anything to anybody. It was so sad, and I was in shock. Like, I couldn't believe that she could do this to me. So my dad saw I was very depressed, so he told me to go to Montreal for like a week before school starts again. So I went to Montreal with my brother for a week. Came back and I felt way better. But I decided to cut off my cousin and not talk to her I was so in shock that I couldn't come and confront her about, because I was so, you know how when you're in a situation you're in shock, you don't want to do anything with the person. You don't want to sit down and talk to the person and say, why did you do this to me? So I stopped talking to her for like maybe 3 to 4 months. I stopped, and then my mom comes to me, why aren't you talking to her anymore? I was like, I don't want to talk to her anymore. She says a lot of stuff about me. Everything she did, I'm gonna stop talking to her. My parents didn't feel that the cousin did anything wrong, because she informed the parents are not the enemy, so she informed us that you went to see a guy for the parents. But it was still wrong for her to do what she did. She was very, very wrong. Very, very wrong to do what she did. But the parents did not see it that way, because we're not the same. We don't see things the same way. I stopped talking to her, and then she felt so like, she didn't feel that she did anything wrong, and she never apologized for what she did. For her, she didn't do anything. For her, she's like, oh, I did it for her own good, which is so not true. She did not do it for my own good. She just wanted me to be humiliated, for the whole family to know that I was no longer a virgin. She did not like me at all, and she just wanted me to be humiliated. But at the end of the day, her plan did not work. But the whole situation, how everything happened, is still bothering me, and it's still affecting me until today. It's a situation that I will never ever forget that she did. So after that, my mom reconciled me and the cousin, and I forgave her without getting an apology from her. Everything went back to normal. But guess what? Her behavior is still her behavior. She did not learn from that situation at all. And she did not change after that. So a year, maybe 2-3 years later, another situation happened where I was outside with my friends at the beach. She hears a rumor about me. People talking about me, saying I was doing a lot of things in the city of Toronto. Okay. She was not living with us anymore. She left the city to go study elsewhere. And guess what? So she hears stories about me, people saying I do prostitution. I drink. When I drink, I can't control myself, so I do whatever I want in the city. Ever since I started my beauty pageants, that's where I started doing those things. She hears that, she calls my mom and tells my mom that. I come back home, again, same situation. My mom, Aminata, is it true you're doing all of that? I was like, what? Where is that coming from? I see a text from my sister, Aminata, what did you do? I was like, oh my God, where is all of this coming from? And I was thinking, I was like, And then my mom was like, I'm like, who told my mom? My mom was like, oh, it's a Guinean girl from Ottawa. And boom, guess who it was? The cousin. I was like, I wasn't really shocked. So the first thing I did is I texted her. I was like, what is going on? Oh, there's people in Ottawa, girls here talking shit about you, saying so much things about it. I was like, What I did is I blocked her on every social media account. Boom. I didn't cut her off for that, but I blocked her on, and when I blocked her on the social media, on Snapchat and everything, she totally understood why I did it. And that was another situation that she did. She did not learn from what she did before. She continued with that. So when we're talking about toxic people, I'm saying that they're never going to change. And this cousin, after this, the rumor part, when she called my mom, when we're not in the same city, I continued talking to her normally. But after I blocked her, she totally understood, and she didn't really bother me after that. But recently, she tried again. And like recently now, 2021, me and her are no longer talking, and I decided me and her, we're like really done. I saw that there's some people that are never ever going to change no matter what, and that's how they are. So what happened, the recent experience of 2020, I celebrated my 25th birthday. I did a lingerie party with my girls in an apartment. It was a fun night. It was one of my best birthdays. I had a lot of fun. Even though I don't have this girl on my Snapchat anymore, there's still friends in common that we have that probably know her and me that would tell her, oh, your cousin did a birthday party and everything. And now, it wasn't like a humiliating situation this time, but I knew it was coming from her. Okay, I came back home and then was like, oh, my mom's like, oh, I mean, that's what, you have a group of friends now or what? You have a group of friends or what? You post so much things on social media. I was like, you know what? I recently had my birthday party and I'm pretty sure it was related to that party. Every time I'm having a great time, there's always going to be the cousin that's going to try to ruin my moment. I knew it was coming from her. When my sister texts me and brings up things again, oh, I mean, that's her. She said that, but I was like, oh, ooh. I was in shock. I was like, I know it's coming from her. So you know what I'm going to do? This is what I decided to do. I was tired of it. And I knew it was going to go on and go on. So you know what? I texted her a long message, pretending that I was someone else. But it was related to me. But it was coming from me. I was like, stop doing that. Like, the message was a long message. I was just telling her to please stop bringing up stuff to my mom. Whatever you hear people say about me, that's my life. And it's not of your business. If you can't come and tell me directly, your cousin, your own blood cousin, about what people say, don't go and tell my mom. We are adults now. We are no longer teens or children. You can come to me and say it. If you can't come, then don't go and tell my mom. I wrote her a long message. She took it wrong because I did not offend her. I just told her how I felt. Like, I just wanted her to stop doing what she was doing. People are always going to talk about you no matter what you do. So I just wanted her to stop doing that. She took it wrong and showed her defensive side. Oh, so you think people are gonna stop talking about you, blah, 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 blah. I was like, it's not about people saying things. I don't care what people say. It's about you passing the information to my mom. I want you to stop doing that. That's all. She's like, you know what, blah, 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 stay in your corner, I'll stay on mine. I didn't care. Stay in your corner and stay in mine. I can do that. I've already done it before. So this cousin, block, finish. Me and her were done for good. And no one is never gonna try to reconcile us ever again. It's never gonna work. Anybody can try, but this time it's not gonna work. So you see, guys, our parents want the best for us, but it's sometimes that they don't always use the proper ways to show it to us. It's very uncomfortable when your parents don't wish you happy birthday just because they're mad at you for not making them happy, always caring what other people say about their children and not being able to talk about your feelings to them. If you have no choice to stay with them, stay until you feel prepared. If you feel that the environment is too toxic and you're really not getting along with them, it's better to move out, but only do it when you're ready, because life out there is also not easy. At the end of the day, a family member stays a family member, but that doesn't mean you need to keep them in your life. If you have a dysfunctional family member, you need to set boundaries with that person because they're humans being like the rest. There's a quote that says that your enemy is never far away from you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was episode 4 of Toxic Family Members. I hope you're excited for the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.